Hey, Frank, what's up, man? I know I got a frog in my throat today. I got this, I don't know, cold or flu, scratchy voice, so I'm going to sound like this for the recording. It is what it is. Okay, so I'm going to try to talk about some new stuff that I don't typically talk about. So the first thing is this website called Trading Economics. This is a great website to find important financial information. If you're trading daily, this is a must because it shows you here all of the different events that happen each day. So today was Thursday, June 25th. Now here's kind of a nice rule of thumb. Anytime you see one of these red boxes here, it's probably a good idea to not be in the markets unless you absolutely know what you're doing. So whenever I see a red box like this, that means I'm flat positions. I'm not doing anything. I'm just watching to see the mayhem ensue. And the same thing goes for any of these bolded ones too. I typically don't trade during those as well. Anytime I see something that says Fed, not going to touch it. So the thing I want to show you today is today we had these numbers, the core PCE come out, the durable goods, so on and so forth. So I'm not a super expert on this, but I know enough to say that if you interpret all this information here, so you have like the forecast and the consensus, right? So look at the consensus, 0.3% for core PCE, and it came in actually at 0.3%. So in a nutshell, it looks like the economy, the economy is not as bad as people thought, right? It's stronger than expected. However, inflation is still sticky. It's still higher than the Fed wants it to be. So you got good and you got bad, right, at the same time, right? So inflation is still too sticky. You got people spending, right? So if you look at personal spending here, right? So consensus was 0.6%, actually came in at 0.7%. That one basis point, right? That one percentage there, tenth of a percent, I should say, also referred to as a basis point. That might not look like very much, but when you're dealing with these kinds of numbers, it's a lot. So anyways, moving on to the charts. I'm going to keep this simple because this is what I'm seeing. All right. What are we looking at here? Super simple chart. You see this big old ramp up. Now, what stock or ticker is this? If you look over here, it's SMH. This is the Van Eck Semiconductor Index. So all of the tech stocks, all the AI stuff, the bubble we're in, basically. If you look here, now keep in mind, this is a monthly chart. I'm going to prove it. Just look right here. Okay, if you look at the RSI, look at that number for a moment, 88.69. 88.69. It is generally thought that 70 is overbought, right? I personally use 80. I go a little higher. 88? That's really, really overbought. The last time it was that high was back here, right? You can see it was like 87 back in August of 2021, right? And it looks like it came up another couple months, even here. And then 4 months later, it came down, right? Even over here too, like 83, it was 83 RSI in October 2017. Now, let's take a look at something here. So if I go back to the last big run up and then the drawdown, right, which was right around here when the RSI was 87 in August of 2021. So it looks like it went up another month or sideways, up, and then sideways, and then it finally came down. So it had one more leg up here, and then it finally retraced. How much of a percentage was that retracement from that high then, right? So we'll go here and we'll take our price range and we'll go to the top here, click that, and then I'm gonna take it to the bottom here. So that was a 47.48% retracement back then. Okay, now let's keep that in mind, right? So what are we looking at here? So we have this big old trend up. It's clear as day, right? It starts obviously right here, and then it's up here. Let's pretend for a moment that we put a top in. Could keep going. I think it's kind of in its last stages of that. It could push up again, yet another little bit. But I don't think this is going to go into infinity. I don't think we're going to see SMH at 1,000 anytime soon. I don't think so. Could it happen? Yeah. Do I think it will? No. I think it's more likely this thing is going to start coming in as a retracement, but where? Where is it going to come down to, right? So let's keep it simple. Now, this is a monthly chart, so these numbers might be coarse, right? But it'll give you a general idea, or gives me a general idea. So fib retracement, this is something I like to use. So fib retracement, retrace, coming back in, right? Fibs are always drawn from left to right. Now, if you're drawing them bullish, you draw them from the bottom to the top, okay? And if you're drawing them from, if you're looking for like a short retracement, so if it's coming down and you're wanting to get a bounce off a line above it, right? You would draw from top to bottom like this. You go top to bottom, right? So as the price comes back up, you would look for a bounce to come back in. Okay, but we're not doing that. We're looking for a long retracement. So we're gonna go here and I'm gonna draw, let's pretend for a moment the top's in, right? What immediately catches my eye is that this here, this 618, which is also known as the golden pocket or the golden ratio. You can read up about it. It's in everything. It's in Nature and all kinds of stuff. So 361 here, right? You have this support here. That looks like a valid level. Now, do I think it's going to come all the way back there? It could, right? That would be a viable level. Now, I'm also going to turn on some pivot points, right? And I don't see anything lining up. I don't see any confluence. So let's switch the time frame. Let's go to 1 week, right? Do I see anything lining up there? Not really. I mean, this is close, this R1 and 05 level. That could be something there. Let's go to the daily. Let's see if anything's lining up there. Yeah. You see it? I see it right here. 05 and the S3. Here, let me zoom in a little bit there. So this right here, S3 and the 05 pivot, they're close enough that I would consider that confluence, right? So that would be, I would consider a strong support level. So if this thing starts coming in hard and fast, it could get there. Now, along the way, it doesn't mean it's gonna go straight there, but along the way, we could start bouncing off of these pivot points, right? This one here, you could test the 236, you could test S1. It could do things like bounce up and then keep going, bounce up and then keep going, bounce up, like kind of like a bong, 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 down. At some point, it'll find a bottom and then work its way back up. So another thing to think about is maybe using indicators in conjunction. So if this thing does start coming in, is the RSI getting low enough, like in the 20s or 30s? Like if we're down to, let's say, this pivot point or this S1 level and RSI is 20, that's, yeah, buy, okay. All right, so moving on, let's see. I think we're done with SMH for now. So let's move on to SMH's star child, Micron, right? So here we go with Micron. And this is a daily chart. You can see the clear run up here. And it's the same deal. Like, look at the monthly RSI. Look at this trend. I mean, it's amazing. RSI on the monthly is 92. Yee, overbought, right? So the last time it was that high was probably never, right? On the monthly. Oh, wait, here we go. Here we go. Okay, back here in 1995. Good old 95. Back in the when was that? August, the summer of 95. Back in the summer of 95. Okay, so let's do the same thing. And I'm sorry for my out of key singing. I have a cold. I do sing out of key, but okay, so right here, 96 in September of 95, it looks like. We hit a high of $47, and then we came back in after that in July down to here in 96. We hit a low of $8.31. What kind of percentage was that? Let's take a look. So price range right here, and that was that was an 82.45% drawdown. That's not to say it's going to do that again, but history does have a tendency to not repeat, but what they say, rhyme but not repeat, right? Look at this head and shoulders pattern here. This is kind of head, shoulder, head, shoulder, and then the leg down, right? That you can kind of spot these things. Okay, so what are we looking at now? Let's take a look at where Micron might fall or might have a hard time. So the trend, the general trend, let's say it starts, this is a tough one, maybe right here. My gut tells me to start it here. It could be here or here. It's subjective, right? It's not like rocket science. It's not like I'm doing anything precise. Okay, so from there to here, so 618 is 543. That seems reasonable, right? Let's turn on some pivots, right? Nothing lining up. Let's do the weekly. Wow, R1 and the 786 are kind of lining up there for a bit of confluence. Let's try daily. My apologies for the cough. Oh, here we go. I see it. Do you see it too? I see it. 382 right here, and the pivot. See that? They're like basically laying on top of each other. So that could be a target for a long retracement. Another one, 05 and the S1 are close, right? And then again, look at this one, 786 is laying right on top of S2. So, all right, it's the same thing. Can come down, hit this, bounce up, right? You can take profit, and then if it comes back in, you could try your hand again here at the S105, and then if it bounces up, you take profit, and then finally, if, a big if, it comes down yet again to the 786 S2, booyah-kacha. And then you might be able to get a little bounce there, take a few bucks, put it in your pocket, buy some beef jerky. Okay, so that's cool. So we're looking at this. Now let's try something else. I want to try something else. Let's see, we're moving still. It looks like on the daily, the RSI is 64, but if we go to the monthly, we're 92. So on the daily chart, it looks like we have maybe a little gas left in the tank for more upside. Let's take a look at the weekly. 83 on the RSI. That's high. That's high. 87 is where it was. It was here. 87 in May. It was 87 here in January of 2026. It was 80, almost 84 in November 2025. So yeah, it looks like we're due for some sort of correction. So, but it's still looking like we're in between R1 and R2. So let's try something. Now you can also see here a bearish divergence on the RSI. So divergence means as the price is going up, the RSI is going down. All right, so they're kind of diverging. I don't know if I'm doing this right for the video. So, let me try it there. Like that. I can't, where's the camera? There we go. Yeah, diverging. One's going up, one's coming down, right? Divergence. So as the RSI is going down, the price is coming up. That's called divergence. And in this case, we're having bearish divergence. Now you can make the case, right, that the price did come down here. But what is this? Like a little drop for ants? Come on, man. We need more than that. We need more action than that little drop, little bipkus drop. Okay, so let's try a different tool I like to sometimes experiment with. Trend-based fib extension. So I'm gonna put that on here. So how do we use this? So this is like, you look for a trend and then the retracement, right? So let's try it from, let's go from here to here to here. And do we see anything? I don't see anything there. Okay, let's try a different one. Let's try Let's try here and here and here. Ooh, well, that's interesting. If I look at this, I can see there are two indicators at the same level, and that would be this one here, the one from the trend base fib extension. I believe that's what it's called. Yeah, trend base fib extension, and the R2. Let me get rid of that. I didn't mean to draw that. So R2 and the 1 are basically laying on top of each other, right? So R2 is 1253 and the 1 is 1291.43. Basically the same. So this could be considered resistance, right? I would consider that resistance as well. So what else are we seeing here? So let's try Fibonacci, right? So we'll try Fibonacci and see what we get. Now, here's what I want to point out. This was something actually I saw the other day. If you would have drawn a fib from the start of this trend here to this high, look at this 618 right there, 99157. And look at this, it came down and whacked it, 99110, right? So that's within 47 cents of the level. Now we're talking about a daily time frame here. So that is very, very accurate, right? Came up, right? Trend up, and then it retraced to the 618. Pretty darn close, within $1. So that's why I say that 618, man, always watch out for those. Now the trick is to try to find where the trend is, where you can draw the trend from for it to make sense. And I'm still a work in progress with that. But a friend of mine was trading this stock the other day and wanted to see where maybe a retracement level would be, and we found this. So technical analysis does work. The trick is finding it, and the trick is trusting it, which is something I have a hard time doing. So I think this video has gone on way too long, so I'm going to zip it here, and I'd like to hear your thoughts. This is all me just spouting. I mean, these things could or could not happen. I do really think that the semiconductors are going to come in, and Micron's going to come in. I think that RSI on the monthly is just way too high to just stay there. Could we have a little bit more upside? Yeah. But I think at a certain point, it's got to reckon with gravity. Let's see what happens. Okay. Have a good one.